I always thought love was something you could build on, layer by layer, and no matter how high you stacked those layers, it would never crumble. We had that kind of love, at least, I thought we did. Eric and I, we were perfect. Or at least. That's how I convinced myself every time I looked at him. When we met, I was the shy one, and he was the outgoing, confident one. He had this way of making everyone feel like they mattered, like they were the most important person in the room. And when I looked at him, it was like everything around us blurred. I think that's when I knew he was the one. He wasn't perfect, none of us are, but to me, he was. Our first few years together were full of promise. Late-night conversations about our dreams, weekends spent curled up on the couch watching old movies, talking about the life we'd build. And then, after what felt like a perfect eternity, he proposed. "I love you, just as you are," he'd said that night, down on one knee in our small, messy apartment. I should have known then that something was off, but at the time, all I saw was the man I loved, asking me to be his forever. I remember that night so clearly, how I felt his nervous energy, how his hand trembled just slightly as he slid the ring on my finger. I told myself I'd never forget that moment, how my heart swelled with happiness. But, now I see it differently. Now I wonder if he was just relieved that I said yes, that I wasn't going to walk away. That I wouldn't see through the cracks that were already starting to form. Things weren't perfect after the proposal, but they didn't need to be. At least, that's what I kept telling myself. The wedding was planned out in the most basic way, with him shrugging off any suggestions for something more. And I, in my blind devotion, didn't care. We'd be happy, I told myself. We didn't need extravagance, but then the small signs started. I remember the first time I noticed it, how distant he was, how when I came home from work, he wasn't sitting on the couch, playing video games like he always did. The first time he made excuses to avoid having dinner with me, saying he was too tired or had to work late. I thought it was nothing, just the stress of life, the weight of everything. He's been working harder, I told myself, but I noticed it more often. When we talked, it felt like he wasn't really there, just listening with half an ear, nodding when it was appropriate. The moments that used to feel like ours, the inside jokes, the light touches that once made my heart race, those moments started to feel empty. Like he was barely trying. My best friend, Laura, noticed it too. "You two okay?" she asked, one night while we were grabbing coffee. She glanced at me, her eyes full of concern. "I've been seeing less of Eric lately. Is everything all right?" I smiled, maybe too brightly. "Yeah, we're fine. Just, life, you know? He's busy with work." Laura raised an eyebrow but didn't press it further. She'd been my sounding board for years, always there when I needed to vent. She always told me I deserved the world, that Eric was lucky to have me, but lately, I wasn't so sure anymore. I remember telling myself, it's just a phase. Everything will get better. I told Laura that, too. She didn't seem convinced, but I didn't care. I wasn't ready to confront it. Not yet. I wasn't ready to face what seemed like the beginning of the end, but that night, after Laura left, I sat on the couch staring at the empty space where Eric had once sat. The TV was still on, some show neither of us had ever cared about, but the silence in the room was deafening. It felt like he was slipping away from me, and I didn't know how to stop it. Maybe I wasn't good enough anymore. Maybe he had changed. And I hadn't noticed it. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something else was happening, something I didn't want to face. And when he came home that night, late again, barely even acknowledging me, I felt a pang of dread in my stomach. "Hey," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "How was work?" He shrugged, dropping his bag by the door. "Fine." There was nothing else, no questions about my day, no smiles, no warmth. Just, fine. The distance grew. The love I thought was unbreakable, the bond one thought we shared, it all started to feel fragile. And for the first time, I felt like I was standing on the edge of something I didn't understand. Something I didn't want to understand, but I didn't know how to turn back. How to stop the storm from coming to us. I pretended everything was fine, clinging to the memory of what we once had, hoping it would hold us together. But deep down, I could feel the cracks widening, the foundation of my marriage slipping away. And I couldn't stop. It started small, so small that I almost convinced myself I was imagining it. At first, I brushed it off. He's just stressed, I thought. He's busy. That's all. But the cracks didn't stop at that one small moment. They just kept widening. Eric wasn't the same. He used to text me throughout the day, little things. Like asking how my morning was going or telling me he loved me. But lately, the texts had become less frequent, more detached. I was the one reaching out, trying to stir up some kind of connection. I remember the first time he came home later than usual. I didn't think too much of it, just a late meeting, I assumed. But it became a pattern. Days turned into weeks, and those late nights at work became more frequent. I didn't say anything. I didn't want to sound paranoid, but inside, I felt a growing knot in my stomach every time he walked through the door late, and then there was the phone. His phone, which used to sit carelessly on the counter, now found a home on the coffee table, screen down. Always. That wasn't like him. He had nothing to hide, I told myself. But that whispering voice in the back of my mind wouldn't shut up. One evening, as I was cleaning up the kitchen, I saw it. A text message from someone, just a name, nothing else. And the message had a timestamp that was, well, too late. I froze. I didn't know what to do. Should I confront him? Should I ask? Or would I be overstepping? But the silence was eating at me. When he came home that night, I decided to confront him. Maybe I was being irrational, but I needed to know. Eric, I said, my voice coming out more shaky than I intended, who's Laura? He glanced at me, his face a little too calm. Laura? Yeah. The text you got at. I checked the timestamp again, 11:42 p.m. Who is she? He blinked, clearly taken off guard. Oh, that's just a work thing. She's from the team in San Francisco. We've been collaborating. I tried to hold back the rising tide of doubt. But, why did it have to be so late? Eric sighed and dropped his bag by the door. It's nothing, really. Just a quick update on the project. You're overthinking it. I wanted to believe him. I really did. His words made sense, right? I was just being crazy. I was just letting my mind spiral, but that knot was still there. That growing, suffocating feeling that something wasn't right. I nodded, forcing a smile. Okay, sorry. I was worried. Don't be. Everything's fine. His hand reached out and gently cupped my face. I'm right here, aren't I? His touch was warm, and for a moment, I almost let it calm me. But the doubt lingered. The next few days were a blur. Eric continued to come home late. He was distant. More than usual. I tried to ignore it, to focus on anything else, work, the gym, my friends. But it was impossible. The more I thought about it, the more I realized how much distance had grown between us. Am I crazy? I asked Laura one afternoon as we sat in a coffee shop. Or am I just seeing things? She looked at me with concern in her eyes. I don't know, but you've mentioned this a few times now. I mean, he's been weird lately, hasn't he? I nodded, but I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to sound like I was accusing him of something without proof. I just feel like he's slipping away, you know? I shook my head. I don't even know if it's just in my head. But he's always working late. He's always on his phone. And I can't shake the feeling that something's off. Laura sipped her coffee, her gaze soft but steady. Maybe you should talk to him again. I mean, if you don't feel right about it, you deserve to know what's going on. I hesitated. I don't want to be that person, you know? The jealous, paranoid one. What if I'm wrong? Laura gave me a sympathetic look. But what if you're not? I didn't have an answer. The next night, as I sat on the couch waiting for Eric to come home, I couldn't help but notice the change. The absence of something we'd once had. His presence wasn't enough anymore. And I felt it in my bones, something was happening. Something I didn't want to admit. When he finally walked in, he didn't smile. Didn't even greet me right away. He just dropped his keys on the table and went straight to the kitchen. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual, "how was work?" "Same as usual." His voice was distant. Too distant. I sat there, staring at him, wondering if I should bring it up again. But the words caught in my throat. Maybe I was just overthinking it, but deep down, I knew. Something was wrong. I didn't mean to find it. I didn't even want to look, but curiosity got the best of me. The moment the phone buzzed on the kitchen counter, I should have walked away. But something in me, something deep down, was urging me to pick it up. Eric had stepped out to grab dinner, and I was alone, staring at the blinking screen of his phone. I told myself it was stupid to even consider it. His privacy. Our trust. But the nagging voice inside me wouldn't stop. When I unlocked the screen, I expected to see nothing, just another work message or some random thing from a friend. But I found more than I ever expected there. In the middle of the screen was a text from a name I didn't recognize. Laura. At first, I thought it might be someone from work. But then I saw the timestamp, 11:42 p.m. Why was she texting him so late? I opened it, my heart pounding in my chest. "Laura, I can't stop thinking about you. You're all I want." My stomach twisted. I read the message again. What the hell? It felt like the ground was shifting beneath me. My hands shook as I scrolled down, reading every word, desperate for some explanation, any explanation. But there was none. "Eric, I feel the same way. I just need more time." More time for what? My mind screamed at me, and yet, I couldn't stop reading. The following messages were worse. More intimate. Flirty. Words that weren't meant for me. Not now. Not ever. The messages kept coming. "Laura, we can't keep doing this in secret forever." I felt sick. It hit me like a punch to the gut. My vision blurred, and I had to put my hand on the counter to steady myself. I couldn't breathe. This isn't happening. This can't be happening. I wanted to throw the phone against the wall. I wanted to scream, to throw something, anything. But instead, I stood there, frozen. When I heard the door open, I snapped out of it, barely managing to hide the phone in my hands as I spun around. Eric stood in the doorway, carrying bags of food like everything was fine. Like nothing had changed. I couldn't breathe. My voice caught in my throat as I stared at him. "You okay?" His casual tone made my blood boil. I couldn't say anything. I just stared at him, every inch of me screaming. I wanted to ask him. Why? Why had he done this to me? Why did he betray me? But my voice was stuck, and I couldn't form the words. "Babe?" He set the bags down on the counter and looked at me like he had no idea what was going on. Like he didn't feel the tension thick in the air. I dropped the phone on the counter between us, my hands still shaking. I could feel the rage bubbling up inside me, but the words were stuck. My breath came in shallow bursts. "Who is Laura?" I finally managed to force out that. Eric's face faltered for just a second before he quickly recovered. He ran a hand through his hair, clearly panicking now. "Laura's, she's just someone from work." His voice was too calm, too practiced. I shook my head, my anger spilling over. "Don't lie to me, Eric. Look, it's nothing. It's just what?" I snapped, taking a step toward him. "Just a fling? Just a late-night text? Is that how it is?" He froze, his expression hardening. "It's not like that." His voice wavered, and I could hear the uncertainty in it. "But I didn't care." "You expect me to believe that? After everything?" I threw my hands up in the air. "You've been lying to me, Eric. You've been lying about everything. About us." He looked at me, his eyes darting between the phone and my face, but he didn't say anything. For a moment, I was numb. Just staring at him, seeing him for what he really was. I wanted to scream at him. I wanted to hit him, to make him feel the hurt he had caused me. But instead, I just stood there. The silence was suffocating. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. Who is she, Eric? I demanded, my voice breaking. Who is she to you? Eric's eyes flickered to the phone again. He opened his mouth like he was about to say something, but nothing came out. His lips pressed into a thin line, and I could see him trying to hold back something. Maybe guilt. Maybe shame. She's nobody, he said quietly. I don't know why I said that. It was a mistake. I didn't mean it. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to forgive him because that was the only thing that made sense. But deep down, I knew I couldn't. I couldn't trust him anymore. Then why are you still talking to her? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. I'll stop, he said, reaching for my hand. I swear, it was nothing. I'll fix it. No, I pulled my hand away, backing up a step. You've already broken everything. Everything, Eric. He reached out again, but this time, I stepped back, shaking my head. I need you to leave. His face fell, and for the first time, I saw genuine regret. But it didn't matter anymore. I was done. I can't do this anymore, I whispered, the words tasting like ash in my mouth. He didn't move, didn't say anything. He just stood there, staring at me like I was the one who had betrayed him. Like I was the one who was in the wrong, and that was when it hit me. The person I thought I knew, the person I thought I loved, wasn't real. I couldn't trust him anymore. Not after this. I couldn't keep pretending. I couldn't hold it in anymore. The rage, the hurt, it had been building up inside me for days, for weeks, and now, it was impossible to ignore. So I waited for Eric to come home, standing in the living room, staring at the door like it was the threshold between everything I had believed and the painful truth I couldn't escape. When he finally walked in, I felt my heart drop into my stomach. Hey, he said casually, as if nothing had changed. As if the world hadn't shattered into pieces inside me. I didn't speak. I just stared at him. Eric looked at me, his expression shifting slightly. What's going on? You look, who's Laura? His face froze for just a split second before he recovered. But I saw it. I saw the panic in his eyes, and it made my blood run cold. You're really gonna do this now? He asked, running a hand through his hair. Can't you let it go? It's not a big deal. I almost laughed at the absurdity of it. Not a big deal. His voice was calm, but the words coming out of his mouth were enough to make my chest tighten with fury. It's not a big deal? I repeated, my voice shaking. You've been texting another woman, Eric. A flirty text, at that. And you're telling me it's not a big deal? He sighed, dropping his keys on the counter. It's not what you think, all right? You're blowing this out of proportion. Blowing it out of proportion? Every word that left his mouth made my anger burn brighter. I couldn't believe this was happening, but here I was, standing face to face with the man I loved, having to confront him about something he thought I should just forget. You think I'm overreacting? I bit the words out. You think I'm the crazy one? Look, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been texting her like that, but it wasn't serious, okay? We were just talking about work. It didn't mean anything. I wanted to scream. The defensiveness in his tone made everything worse. It made my hands shake, my mind race, and my heart ache with the weight of the betrayal. I took a step closer to him, my voice low and dangerous. Then why didn't you tell me about it? Why did I have to find out this way? I didn't think it would bother you. His voice was annoyingly calm, like he was trying to brush it off. It was just one stupid conversation. I could feel my chest tightening, the tears threatening to spill over, but I wasn't going to let them fall. Not yet. One stupid conversation? Eric, you've been lying to me. This isn't just about one conversation. It's everything. It's the late nights, the secretive phone calls, the distance, all of it. I said I'm sorry, all right? His voice was harder now, defensive. I didn't want to hurt you. It wasn't like that. I couldn't contain the anger anymore. It wasn't like that? How could it not be like that? You've been sneaking around, acting like everything's Fine. And now you want to tell me it was nothing? He looked away, running his hands through his hair again, clearly uncomfortable. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I should have stopped it, but, he trailed off, not finishing the thought. But what? I demanded. But you didn't, did you? You didn't stop it. You kept it going. I was done. I couldn't let him downplay it. How long has this been going on, Eric? How long? I don't know, okay? A few months. But it wasn't anything serious. His voice wavered, and for a second, I thought I saw a glimpse of guilt in his eyes. But it was fleeting. A few months? The words felt like they were suffocating me. My breath caught in my throat. And you've been lying to me for that long? His gaze dropped to the floor, and I could tell he was searching for something to say, anything to make this go away. I didn't want to hurt you. I didn't think it would be this big of a deal. You're not the problem, okay? It was just. I don't know. I messed up. Messed up? I laughed bitterly, the sound of it sharp and bitter in my own ears. Messed up? This isn't a mistake, Eric. This is you choosing her over me. This is you betraying everything we had, everything we built together. He stepped toward me. His hand reaching out, but I backed away. Don't touch me, I snapped. Don't touch me right now. I don't know who you are anymore. You're blowing this out of proportion, he repeated, almost pleading with me, but his words only fueled the fire inside me. No, I'm not. You are. You've been lying, sneaking around, and now you want to act like it's nothing. I could feel my emotions spiraling out of control. I thought you loved me, Eric. I thought we were building something real. We are, he insisted, his voice rising. We've been through so much together. One stupid mistake doesn't change that. I shook my head, the weight of his words hitting me like a slap. A mistake? I repeated, barely able to believe what I was hearing. You don't get it, do you? This isn't a mistake. This is everything I've ever feared, being betrayed, being lied to, being discarded. And now I see it. I see you for what you really are. All I knew was that I couldn't go on like this. Not anymore, I can't do this, I whispered, my voice barely audible. I can't do this with you anymore. Eric stared at me, his expression a mix of confusion and regret, but I had already made my decision. I was done, I just didn't know how to leave the love I thought I had. I don't know how it happened, but here I am, obsessed. I didn't plan for this. I didn't want this. But the images, the texts, the lies, they're in my head. Every second. Every minute. I can't stop thinking about it. I spent the last 2 days just staring at him. Watching his every move. Waiting for him to slip up again. I know it's pathetic. I know it's unhealthy. But I can't help it. Every time he leaves the house, every time he checks his phone, I feel this surge of paranoia. He doesn't even realize it. Today, he came home early, earlier than usual, and I felt my heart race. Was he hiding something? Was he meeting her? Laura, the name still rings in my head like an echo I can't silence. I can barely look at him without feeling like a fool. Hey, I say, trying to act casual, my voice trembling just a little. How was work? He looks up from his phone, surprised by the question. Fine. Same as usual. He shrugs, walking past me to the kitchen. Same as usual. That's all he ever says. Same as usual. Same as before, but everything has changed. Nothing's the same. I stand there, watching him, my mind racing. Should I ask him again? Should I confront him? I want to. I need to know. Did you meet her? Did you really think I wouldn't notice? But then, my mind goes back to the texts, the way she called him handsome and sexy. The way she begged for more of his attention, and he responded. He was responding to her, telling her things he had never told me. I try to shake the thoughts away, but they just stick. I'm obsessed. I can't focus on anything else. I'm supposed to be working on my project at work, but I can't even think straight. I keep checking the clock, wondering when he'll be home, when I can watch him again. Watch for more lies. Watch for more of his bullshit excuses. Did I see the text message from Laura again in my mind? She's not the one I want to hurt, but it's hard not to imagine her face. Is she better than me? The thought hits me like a punch in the gut. Is she everything I'm not? Hey, I'm heading out to the store, Eric calls from the kitchen. His voice is casual, like nothing's wrong. I don't answer right away. I don't want him to think I'm suspicious, but I feel the tension rising in my chest. I should let him go. But the urge to follow him is so strong. I just want to know. I want to catch him. He's halfway out the door when I finally speak. I'll come with you. Eric looks at me, surprised. Really? You never want to go with me to the store? Just felt like it, I lie, forcing a smile that doesn't reach my eyes. He shrugs and grabs his keys. All right, let's go then. The whole time at the store, I feel like I'm walking through a fog. My mind is somewhere else, somewhere dark. I'm looking at him, analyzing every movement, every word. Does he look guilty? Does he seem too calm? Am I imagining things? The moment we get back home, I feel the overwhelming need to go through his things. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I need something, anything that will confirm what I already know. My hands tremble as I go through his bag, his clothes, his wallet. His phone is the last thing I touch. I can't help myself. I unlock it, knowing it's wrong, knowing it will hurt me more. But I do it anyway. There's nothing here, nothing I haven't already seen. The texts to Laura are gone. The history is erased. I feel like I've been punched in the stomach. I put the phone down, my hands shaking. Was I wrong? Is he really telling the truth? But no, I know him. I know he's hiding something. I just know it. The guilt hits me. I'm not proud of what I'm doing. I'm not proud of becoming this person. Someone who's willing to violate his privacy just to feel some sense of control. It makes me sick, but I can't stop. I look in the mirror, and for the first time, I barely recognize the person staring back. Is this what I've become? I ask myself quietly, my reflection staring back at me, blank-eyed and hollow. Is this who I am now? I'm spiraling. The anger, the hurt, it's consuming me. I want revenge. I want him to feel what I feel, but every time I think about it, I feel the guilt seep in. Is that the person I want to be? Someone who destroys everything. Out of spite, I don't know anymore, but I do know one thing, I need to confront him. I need to end this cycle of obsession. Either I leave, or I fix this. But the more I think about it, the clearer it becomes. I can't keep living in this turmoil. I'm done being stuck in the past, done playing this game of who can hurt the other more. If I want peace, I have to choose it. Maybe the real struggle is not with him, but with myself. I look down at my phone again. Laura's number. I think about deleting it. Maybe I should. Maybe it's time to stop obsessing over things I can't control. The choice is mine, but I don't know if I'm ready to make it. I wish I could say I was fine, that I had everything under control, but I don't. Not anymore. Every day feels like I'm sinking deeper into a hole I can't climb out of. Eric's words are like a broken record in my mind, empty, hollow promises. His apologies mean nothing now. I don't even believe them. I haven't said anything to him in days. The silence between us is deafening, and he knows it. He keeps trying to apologize, keeps asking me to forgive him, but I can't even look at him without feeling the sting of betrayal. He's still here, pretending like things can go back to normal, but I know better. You've got to talk to me, babe, Eric says one night, his voice full of that fake softness he's been using. He stands in the doorway, looking at me like I'm the one being unreasonable. I stare at him, the anger bubbling inside me again. Talk to you? After everything you've done? What do you want me to say, Eric? His face falls, and he steps closer, reaching for me. I pull back instinctively. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to happen. I swear, I regret it. His words are just words. I've heard them 100 times. You regret it? I snap, feeling the rage rise. You regret what exactly? Lying to me? Sneaking around? Pretending everything was fine when it wasn't? I don't want your sorry, Eric. I don't want it. I love you, he says, his voice cracking. I do. I've always loved you. This is all my fault, but please, just give me another chance. I can't listen to him anymore. The weight of it all, the broken trust, the lies, it's too much. I stand up, walking away from him. I don't even know who you are anymore, I whisper, mostly to myself. But it feels like I'm finally seeing the truth, and it's suffocating that Eric's eyes follow me, his face pleading. Please, don't do this. We can fix it. I can make it right. Make it right? I turn back to face him, a bitter laugh escaping me. You think you can fix this? You think I can just forgive you and forget everything you've done? It doesn't work that way, Eric. His shoulders slump, and he looks defeated. But it doesn't matter anymore. I've already made up my mind. I've spent enough time lying to myself, convincing myself this was just a mistake. It's not. You've already ruined it, I say coldly. And I'm done. I don't know if I mean it yet. I don't know if I'm ready to walk away, but I'm so tired of pretending. Tired of living in this lie. Later that night, I find myself alone, scrolling through the evidence I've gathered. It's all right there, the texts, the late-night phone calls, the lies. I can't pretend it's nothing anymore. It's all there, plain as day. I've been looking for a reason to confront him, to confront her. I take a deep breath, my finger hovering over the phone. I'm not sure if I want to do this, but a part of me feels like I need to. Like I need to take control back somehow. If he won't tell me the truth, I'll make him face it. I call Laura. I don't know what I expect. Maybe I'm just hoping for her to admit everything, to confirm what I already know. But when she answers, her voice is exactly how I imagined it, calm, confident, maybe even a little smug. Hello, she says, a slight edge in her voice. Don't waste time. You've been seeing my husband, haven't you? There's a long pause on the other end. Who is this? As she asks, her voice sharp now. You know exactly who I am, I snap. I'm the woman whose life you've been tearing apart. Another long pause. I don't know what you think is going on, but I know everything, I interrupt. I know you've been texting him, meeting him. I know you've been lying to me. And I want you to hear it from me. It's over. You're done. Both of you are. I hang up before she can say another word. I stand there, feeling the weight of it all. The relief of saying something I should have said months ago, the anger of finally confronting the other woman. But I don't feel victorious. I don't feel like I've won anything. I just feel empty. The next morning, I can't bring myself to face Eric. He's tried texting, calling, but I can't pick up the phone. I can't pretend that everything's fine when nothing is. The doorbell rings, and I know it's him. I'm not ready for this conversation. Not yet. I ignore the door and sit down on the couch, staring at the floor. For the first time, I feel like I'm in control of something. For the first time, I'm not the one being lied to, but then I hear his voice through the door. Please, just let me in. We need to talk. I don't answer. I don't know if I want to talk to him. I don't know if I even want him here. I can't keep doing this, Eric, I say, my voice shaking as I finally speak. I don't open the door, but my words are enough. I can't live like this anymore. His voice cracks as he responds. Please, don't leave me. We can fix this. We can make it work. I close my eyes, taking a steadying breath. I know what I have to do. I know it's going to hurt, but I can't stay here. Not in this. I open the door and face him. I'm leaving, I say quietly, my voice firm. This isn't working. I'm done. His face falls, the regret clear in his eyes, but it's too late. I've already made up my mind. I turn and walk away, not looking back. For the first time in a long time, I feel free. I thought I'd feel victorious when I exposed everything. I thought I'd feel powerful, like I'd taken control of the situation and made him pay. But instead, all I feel is empty. And maybe a little relieved. The truth is out, and I no longer have to carry it around. But that's where the power ends. The fallout from everything happened faster than I expected. Eric's friends, the ones who had always supported us, started pulling away. People who had been around during the good times suddenly couldn't look him in the eye. I overheard his coworker talking about him in hushed tones at the grocery store, and I didn't feel a shred of guilt. I didn't have to lift a finger. His reputation crumbled without me doing anything more than showing the truth. His colleagues avoided him. His friends didn't trust him anymore. Even his family, the ones who had always adored him, started questioning him, and it felt good. I thought about how I would confront him, how I would tell everyone about what he'd done, but in the end, it wasn't necessary. I never had to speak a word. His lies did the job for me. The truth was a quiet killer, a poison that spread through his life without him even realizing it until it was too late. It was karma, and it tasted sweeter than I thought it would. Eric came over to apologize. He begged, actually. I should have been surprised, but I wasn't. He came to me like he was the victim, like his world was ending. It was pathetic. I know I've hurt you, he said, his voice weak, his eyes red. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but please, can we talk? I'll do anything. I'll fix this. I sat there, looking at him, trying to remember the person I used to love. But all I could see was the man who betrayed me. You're sorry? I asked, my voice cold. Sorry for what exactly? Sorry for lying to me? For cheating on me? I was confused, he said, shaking his head. I never meant to hurt you. I swear. I just shook my head, feeling a sick amusement rise in me. You didn't mean to hurt me? How many lies does it take to realize you've hurt someone, Eric? How many broken promises? He stared at me, unable to say anything. He just looked like he was sinking deeper into his own mess. I could feel the anger rising again, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about something bigger, about me. You really think I'll take you back? I said, my voice steady now. After everything? No. I don't want your apology. I don't want you anymore. He looked at me like I was a stranger, like he didn't know who I was anymore. But I wasn't the one who had changed. I'm sorry, he said again, his voice breaking. I didn't respond. Instead, I just turned my back on him and walked into the other room. I didn't need to hear anymore. I didn't need him to beg for my forgiveness anymore. I had nothing left to give him. The next few weeks were quiet. Eric tried calling. He sent texts. He showed up at my door. But each time, I ignored him. He didn't deserve any of my time, and I wasn't going to waste it on him. I had already wasted enough, and in that silence, I found something I didn't expect, peace. I started working on myself again. I went back to the gym, focused on my career, and started spending more time with friends, real friends, the ones who hadn't judged me or blamed me for his actions. I started reclaiming pieces of myself I hadn't even realized I'd lost. I was slowly building a life without him in it, and it felt better than anything I could have imagined. You're looking good, Laura said one day when we met for lunch. She had noticed the changes before anyone else did. You look like you're finally free. I smiled, not because I was trying to impress her, but because she was right. I am, I said, taking a sip of my drink. I think I finally realized I was worth more than all of that. Worth more than his lies, his manipulation, his everything. You deserve someone who will appreciate you, she said, her voice full of certainty. I do, I agreed, feeling the weight lift from my shoulders. I deserve more than this. Eric reached out to me one final time. His message was brief, just a "can we talk?" But I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I was no longer tied to him, no longer bound by the emotional chains he had wrapped around me. I was free, and that was enough. The anger faded. The obsession with his betrayal, the desire for revenge, it all started to feel irrelevant. What mattered now was that I was taking back control. What mattered was that I was healing. I was stronger than I'd ever realized. I had survived the worst of it, and now I was moving forward. For the first time in a long time, I felt whole. It's strange how quiet everything feels now. I've spent so many months in turmoil, trapped in the weight of betrayal and anger, but now, the silence feels peaceful. I spent the first few weeks after everything happened just trying to get through the motions. I avoided thinking about Eric, avoided all the reminders of what we once had. At first, it was all I could do to get out of bed in the morning. But then I started going to the gym again. Not for him, not to prove anything to anyone, but for myself. I had to take control of my life again. You're really doing it, Laura said one night after we finished a workout together. She raised an eyebrow as she glanced at me, clearly impressed. You look different. Stronger. I couldn't help but smile, but it wasn't the fake smile I used to wear when I was pretending everything was fine. This one was real. I'm starting to feel it, too, I admitted. I think I forgot what it felt like to take care of myself. It's hard to remember when you've spent so long trying to make someone else happy. She chuckled. Well, now you're the one who deserves the happiness. You've earned it. For the first time in months, I felt like I was finally breathing again. The weight that had been suffocating me was beginning to lift, and then one day, while I was scrolling through my phone, I saw it. An email from Eric. I almost didn't open it, but something made me click. His words were the same as they always were, apologetic, pleading, I know I hurt you, and I will regret it for the rest of my life. But I need to tell you one last time, I love you, and I always will. I just want you to know that I'm sorry. Please, take care of yourself. I read it once, twice, and then I deleted it. There were no tears. No overwhelming sadness. Just a quiet, almost indifferent sense of finality. I didn't need his apologies anymore. They didn't matter. The last time I saw him was at the coffee shop where we used to go on Sundays. It was by accident, a mere coincidence. Hey, he said softly, looking at me with those eyes I had once loved. How have you been? I looked at him for a long moment. There were a million things I could have said, things that would have hurt him the way he hurt me. But I didn't. I've been good, I said, my voice calm, steady. I've been really good, actually. Eric's eyes flickered with something like regret, but I didn't care anymore. His remorse couldn't change the past. I'm sorry for everything, he said again. I'll always be sorry for how I treated you. I shook my head. You don't need to apologize anymore, Eric. I've let it go. You've let it go? His voice cracked, just slightly. How? How can you just move on like that? I took a deep breath and let the calmness wash over me. Because I'm not the same person I was. I've learned from this. And I'm better for it. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. The chains of anger and betrayal were gone. He looked at me, searching for something in my face, something that wasn't there anymore. He didn't get it. He didn't understand that it wasn't about him anymore. I hope you find peace, Eric, I said, my voice steady, but I have to go. He didn't try to stop me as I walked away. And for that, I was thankful. The next few months flew by in a blur of self-discovery. I spent more time with friends, traveled a little, and focused on the things that made me happy, things that had nothing to do with Eric. I found myself again. I went to therapy a few times, just to help me work through everything. I wasn't going for closure, I had already closed that door. But it felt good to talk to someone who didn't have a history with me. Someone who didn't carry any of the baggage. It was in therapy that I started to realize just how much I had given up for Eric. How much of myself I had sacrificed. And when I started to take those things back, my confidence, my strength, my independence, it felt like I was putting myself back together, and that's when it hit me. I was finally whole. I don't think I'll ever forget the pain of what happened, but it doesn't control me anymore. It doesn't define who I am. I've learned so much, and not just about Eric or the affair. I've learned about myself, what I'm capable of, how strong I really am. I realized that I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of someone who will respect me, appreciate me, and never take me for granted, and one day, maybe I'll meet someone who can give me that. But until then, I'm enough on my own. Walking away from Eric wasn't easy. But every day, it gets easier. I've let go of the past, and I'm not looking back. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm walking toward something better. Something that's mine, and for the first time, I feel free. I've spent so much time looking back, at the lies, at the betrayal, at everything I thought I had with Eric. It feels like a lifetime ago. But now, as I sit here and think about everything, I realize something. It wasn't all bad that I learned. I learned about love, about myself, and about what I deserve. The pain was unbearable at first. It was all-consuming. But now, I know that it was part of my journey. It helped me become who I am today. And who I am today is someone who's stronger, wiser, and, most importantly, free. I've let go of so much. I've let go of the idea that I had to live for someone else. I used to think that I wasn't enough. I thought if I could just be what Eric wanted, everything would be okay. But I was wrong. I don't need to be anyone's version of perfect. I just need to be me. I've learned to trust myself again, something I hadn't realized I'd lost. My instincts, my voice, they were always there, but I buried them, kept them quiet because I thought they weren't important. But I was wrong. My voice matters. My feelings matter. I matter. It's funny. I thought that leaving Eric would feel like losing something. But instead, it feels like I'm gaining something. I'm gaining control, independence, and a sense of peace that I haven't felt in years. I can't lie and say I don't sometimes wonder what could have been if things had been different. But those thoughts are fleeting now. They don't control me like they used to. I still remember the last time we spoke. His voice cracked as he said he loved me, that he was sorry for everything. And I thought about it for a moment, about how easy it would be to fall back into that place, that comfort of familiarity. But then I thought about all the ways he had hurt me. All the lies, all the manipulation. And I realized that I wasn't the same person anymore. I wasn't the woman who would settle for that, so I walked away. And now, I'm closing that door. For good. I took my wedding ring off a few days ago. It wasn't dramatic. I didn't make a scene. I just slipped it off and placed it on the counter. That ring no longer symbolizes love. It symbolizes a time when I didn't know my worth. I don't need it anymore. The space where it once was feels strange at first, like I'm missing something. But then I realized, I'm not missing anything. I'm finally free. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know if I'll ever find someone who understands me the way I want to be understood. But I know that I'm okay. I'm more than okay. I'm thriving. I've learned that the most important relationship I'll ever have is with myself. So here's to moving forward. Here's to learning, growing, and letting go. I don't need Eric's apologies anymore. I don't need his love or his regrets. I'm moving forward with my life, and I'm proud of where I am. This is my closure. This is my freedom, and I'm finally ready to live my life for me.